Yo, what is up, guys? Subadoo Gaming is back here with another NBA 2K19 Blacktop video. Today we are playing as Damian Lillard, playing against Russell Westbrook. I know it has been quite a while since I've really uploaded anything on the channel, and once again I am sorry for that, but I'm gonna try to get back on the grind, try to upload a lot of Blacktop videos, especially since it is the NBA playoffs and there are a lot of good matchups happening this time of the year. So, you know, a lot of storylines break out, one of them being Damian Lillard versus Russell Westbrook. As most of you guys know, the Trailblazers did just defeat the Oklahoma City Thunder in the first round of the NBA playoffs to advance to the next seed, to advance to the next round of the playoffs. Trailblazers won the series in 5 games and will play against the winner of the Spurs or Nuggets series. So Damian Lillard really popped off in the first round of the playoffs, as we have seen him do before in the playoffs. Obviously they haven't won a playoff series in quite a while, and that was Dame's mission this time of the year. He was just like, last year they got swept to the Pelicans, who were a pretty big surprise. Nobody saw that coming, and this year Dame and CJ McCollum were on a mission, and you could see it from the start. Game 1, Game 2, both home games, they completely dominated. Game 3 they did lose, but Game 4 they're just like, you know what, we gotta win. We gotta win the series. We can't let them tie the series up. And once again, they popped off that game as well. Took the series lead 3-1, and Dame just completely took over in Game 5 at home. Drops 50 points, shooting an extremely high percentage, and even though Paul George also dropped 36 that game, Lillard was like, I'm winning the series, period. And he came up, dropped the dagger in the final seconds of the game from just about, I would say, 3/4 from half court, maybe even farther, by the logo on the side, which is farther obviously. And he also stepped back. You know, he completely dominated Game 5. And the next day I got an email from Adidas, since he is partnered, or he is partnered, is that what you'd say? He signed with Adidas, I don't know what you'd say. But I got an email from Adidas. They're just like $50 off on all Dame 5 shoes, and I was like, shoot, I'm taking over here. I decided to buy a pair of Dame 5s as well, because they gave $50 off. Like, would you not take a deal? $50 off Dame 5s? I took that deal. I got them for like $70 with tax, so that was crazy. But enough about my little story right there. Damian Lillard popped off in the first round of the playoffs, all right, and he averaged 33 points a game, and obviously that is kind of puffed up with that final game where he did drop 50, but you know, he shot, I'm pretty sure he shot like 44% as well, which is extremely high once again. And here, let me bring up the stats real quick. After Russell Westbrook shoots and he hit a 3, that's kind of surprising. All right, so Damian Lillard shot 48.1% from deep. That's crazy. This man was taking shots from literally 30+ feet every time he shot it from deep. Just about every time he shot it from 30+ feet, and that's crazy considering the 3-point line is what, like 23 feet. This man was taking shots from yards behind the 3-point line. All right. So, like I said, Damian Lillard averaged 33 points a game in the first round, 48.1% from 3, 46.1% overall shooting. Also had 6 assists per game and 4.4 rebounds per game. Along with how many turnovers? Let's check. 4.4. I would say I would let him get away with that, especially because it's the playoffs. You know, he does play a lot more minutes than the regular season. Yeah, he played 40 minutes a game in that series, so No, you gotta let some players get away with having a little bit more turnovers in the playoffs. There's a lot more pressure. But Dame showed out. He really did show out. Let's see. In Game 3, in their loss, he still played well. He put up 32 points in their loss. So I wouldn't say that loss was his fault, considering he still dropped 32 points. Let me see his shooting percentage that game. Dame shot 47%. He just didn't shoot well from deep that game. 33% from deep. That was his worst 3-point shooting day of the series. And that's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. In the closeout game, Damian Lillard shot 51.5%, 55.6% from deep, and dropped 50 points. That's crazy. Game 1, 43% shooting, 46 from deep. Game 2, 47% shooting, 50% from deep. Game 3, like I said, 47-33. And then Game 4, 30-37, which is probably, that's his worst shooting percentage of the series. But he also dropped 50% from deep, which is, that's amazing. So Damian Lillard really was on a mission this whole entire series. His mission was to win the series, and it was not to get in the defender's head. It was not to get into the opponent's head, which opponents tried to get to his head. You know, Russell Westbrook rocking the baby, Dennis Schroeder smacking his wrist after I think it was during Game 3, he was smacking his wrist saying it was Dame time because it was fourth quarter. But come on now. Damian Lillard, he really grew on me this series. He's probably one of my top 5 players in the NBA at this point. Just seeing what he did this series, it was crazy. Now Russell Westbrook, this series, it wasn't his best series for sure. You know, he had a bad shooting percentage. Let's see, how much did he shoot? His shooting percentage was 36% shooting, 33% from deep, which is pretty good. For Russell Westbrook, that's pretty good. 9 rebounds a game, 10.6 assists per game. Can't hate on that for sure. That just shows straight effort, straight passion of the game. He really puts it all on the court. You could tell that. And he's just not the greatest shooter, honestly. He also averaged 22.8 points a game, which I feel like if he had just shot better, he probably could have put up 30. If he was a better shooter, he could have put up 30 easily. Especially because of the number of shots he takes and how aggressive he is. I feel like if he had just taken better shots as well, a lot of those shots were contested jumpers, which honestly he should not have taken. But you know, he's gonna take those shots and he's gonna live with them, honestly. And I like what he said in his like after the series was over. It was just like, a lot of people used to hate on me for being a ball hog, and then I averaged the most assists per game in the NBA. And then now a lot of people are hating on him for having a bad shooting percentage, not shooting very well. And he said he's just gonna work on it. You know, that's gonna be his next thing to work on. And I like that about him. You know, he's not just gonna continue to be who he is, just keep on taking those shots. He's gonna try to get better, and that's really what you got to do. So yeah, Russell Westbrook, let's see, what was his best game? It was probably Game 3. Let's check. Yep, Game 3, 33 points, and he shot 50% from the field. Also shot 66% from deep. So he did have a pretty great game that game, and that's the game they won. So they really just need him to shoot well, and everything else will come behind that. Paul George, we all know he did play pretty well in that closeout game. Game 5, he had 36 points, but obviously it was not enough considering they lost. Let's see, he averaged 28 points a game in that series. Also 44% shooting overall, 32%, which is lower than his season average from deep. And he has to show out. 8 8.6 rebounds and 4 assists per game. So he did have just about average stats, I would say. But when it comes to playoff series like this, I feel like you just gotta play better, especially if you're getting more minutes. Your stats should not be staying the same. It should be going up for sure, and they didn't for Paul George. He did play pretty well in the last 2 games of the series, but game 3 in their win, he played, I would say he played terrible. Russell Westbrook is the reason they won that game. Although he did put up 22 points a game, 22 points in that game, he shot 18.8%. That's terrible. He shot 3 for 20 that game. That was disgusting for me to watch, and I was sitting there, I was just like, what is he doing? And a lot of people blame me on his little shoulder. I feel like that was just honestly, I don't think he was injured. That's just Paul George in the playoffs. You know, I have witnessed it being a Pacers fan. That's just Paul George in the playoffs, guys. You gotta get better. You don't stay the same in the playoffs. You gotta get better, all right? So I hope he works on it. Hope he come back next year better. And that's really what he has to do in order to take it to the next step. He's still at that star level. I don't think he's a superstar. I feel like he's still a star, and he just has to get better. Finally, CJ McCollum came up clutch in the final game of the series. Let's see his stats for the series. Averaged 24.4 points per game. Also 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 45% shooting, 45% from deep. So 3-point percentages went up, points per game went up, everything else just about stayed the same, and that's really all you need to go up. You know, you gotta shoot better, and you gotta shoot better. You gotta put up more points. You get more minutes. Playoffs. And honestly, in that final game, he was pretty silent until the 4th quarter. But that 4th quarter, he came up clutch, especially when they needed him most. He only put up 17 points that game, and he wasn't shooting all that well really all game. But when it came to the 4th quarter and they needed those buckets, down 7 with about 2 minutes left, he delivered those clutch mid-range shots on Paul George's head, and that's really what won them that game as well. So we did end up losing this Blacktop game. Russell Westbrook defeats Damian Lillard, but it's all good. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you guys did, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, check out the playlist with the rest of our Blacktop videos. If you guys have any matchups you guys would like me to do, let me know in the comments down below. Once again, hit that like button, subscribe, and that'll be it. Hubadoo Gaming is signing out. Peace.